Okay. Okay. This is April. I don't know, what is the date? I don't know about the 10th or 12th or 14th or something. Anyway, it's April, and I'm in the process of mastering the Gary McCracken CD, which is the Royal Coast CD for Gary McCracken, and decided to make this video because I have this mixing board sitting here. What I'm working on is over here is just a little Mackie mixer and a rack full of stuff, and I'm doing it in Nuendo, and and burning it to a burner over there. Normally I would have the Mackie and the rack of stuff sitting over there beside the Soundcraft Magnetics Series 20 stereo half-inch reel-to-reel, and I would normally want to mix down and burn the master to half-inch tape. But Gary didn't want to go for the price of tape, so we won't be doing that on this one. And so I want to start out by highlighting some of my stuff around here. Most predominantly the Wheatstone SP6, which is finally, coming together. All its pieces are here and stuff like that. I've got, I think, 24 stereo line channels over to there. Then it's got 8 subs, a stereo master, and then a mono, and not a minus, but a sum. And then I've got 4 microphone channels in it, and then from there just some monitoring and stuff, a lot of meters and stuff. Awesome board, but not many microphone channels. Well, I have sort of, my hobby has become to pick up old Wheatstone mixers because they're so great. They're such awesome pieces of equipment, and they're always were built for really use in the broadcast industry. I understand that they're the #1 mixer in the broadcast industry. So I get these Wheatstones and I convert them to recording boards. Now, it often takes 3 or 4 broadcast boards to fill out one recording board, mostly because they don't usually have that many microphone channels in them and stuff like that. But so we tweak them up for to be recording boards, and I think that's great. Now that has left me a lot of stereo line inputs, because in broadcast they use a lot of line inputs. Well, it's just my lucky day, because I started collecting a bunch of line inputs, and I thought, I'll make me a board using the line inputs, because I just happen to have this stack over here, and I'll kind of zoom in on it a little bit, of Electrosonics preamps. And the Lectrosonics preamps, there they are, see? You can see Lectrosonics preamps here. I don't know, can you read that? Is it focusing? I don't know if it's focusing. I don't know if I should have. Well, I've got a wide angle adapter on this thing, and so it's going to be a little fuzzier. We'll do the tour. Okay, there's some Lectrosonics preamps, and I'm going to hit those first, and then over. You can't see the line amps, but you can see the 2-track. Nice machine, uses really large reels, can hold a lot of tape, and the Wheatstone. And here's the rack. Oh, got a chair in the way. Oh, the rack of junk. Move that over a little bit. Now let's see what we got. There you can see rack of stuff. There. And Mackie and other stuff. Okay. So I'm going to use these Lectrosonic preamps, and I'm putting the switches on the front of them to turn on their phantom power, because the way they're set up, there's jumpers inside you have to do, and I can't be doing that. So I got to have switches on them. I finally got my switches, and that'll work, some good ones. And then I'll feed the line inputs with that. But this is not really this is sort of the subject of this video. This is not really the subject of the video. It's kind of the reason for the subject of the video. So I've got all this stuff. And then there's another Wheatstone TV600, which is an enormous board. This one really takes 2 people to move it around. But the TV600 takes 4 to better with 6 people to move it around. And it's a really fine board. And that, and a plate reverb, and all the speakers from my old PA and stuff like that, I sold to my good friend Charles, and it's in all that stuff's in his basement. And I think he really wants to get it out of his basement, and he would like to see it used. And I have this, and which is. The studio is all clogged up with this stuff, and the other room is even more clogged up. I've got so much stuff, and a storage bin full of Mad Scientist stuff. And which just reminds me I should have had on my lab coat. So the story at this point is I've decided to in order to have a home for all this stuff and put it to use, I have decided that what I need to do is to open a club. I'd like to open a club down on Lexington and Asheville, so that I have a workshop to work on all this stuff, and a place to put it all to use, and a place where we can have musicians come in and play and stuff like that. I want to call it something like Mad Scientist's Clubhouse, something like that, and a place that would basically have as its theme more or less analog audio. And like Monday night could be noise night out, and Tuesday night could be techno night, and Wednesday night could be I don't know, something experimental, right? And like Friday and Saturday nights could be specific artists or featured artists, that kind of thing. And so the idea would be to you see, I've got all this stuff here. We should have a stage, and I've already got enough stuff to put like the Mad Scientist set together to you know, do the backdrop of the stage all in old rack mount stuff that needs some place to be, just because some of it is, I mean, it's like a work of art. Here, I'll just show you a little bit of what's sitting here, as a for instance of what I think is a work of art. And you know, these items right there, that's beautiful stuff. So there. That's that. And then, so once we have obviously have a stage and put a PA system into the place, a good place to use this board, or better yet, the larger board even. And once we get the, you know, a mixing board and some stuff like that, obviously I'm going to record everything, so everything's going to be recorded. And if we're going to have a stage, we'll have lights set up on the stage, and if we're going to have a stage and if we're going to have lights, well then of course we'll have video that'll sync in with all the audio, so we can make videos that have really good audio on them. We can stream everything that goes on, and we can produce videos and stuff, of course, because there's all this gear that needs to be used. And I've been for a good while, I've been keeping my eye on a number of people that I think would make a really good crew. Some of them that used to work with me at another club where I did sound for about a year there, and stuff, and some of them I've known from, I don't know, more 10 or 15 years. And so I've even like designed in my mind, I have a vision of what the sign for the place would be. It'd be kind of like a marquee for from a theater, but it would be made out of junk de jour, or you know, what we could find at the scrap metal yard at the time. So, you know, sort of welded, you know, perhaps a big wheel with some cogs on it and stuff sticking out of it, all kind of welded together and stuff. And it must incorporate possibly a Tesla coil, or at least a Jacob's ladder, probably a Jacob's ladder, somehow within the inner workings of the thing. But it would be shaped more or less like a like a marquee that might be outside of a theater, and then up and sticking out of it somewhere, some kind of there'll be some kind of sphere, of course, hanging out, which could be part of a Tesla coil or not. And then within the sort of the caged in guts of the sculpture, probably a Jacob's ladder running and that kind of thing. And you know, some blinking lights scattered helter skelter throughout and what have you. Anyway, and this would be the, you know, the marquee for the mad scientists. What was it? Clubhouse. Yeah. And I think we could do quite well with it. Most of all, I've got to get this stuff out and going. And Asheville being what it is, I believe it would really, I think it would really take off, because a bunch of analog musicians and experimental and stuff like that is just like what's going on around here. I'm friends on like MySpace or something with, I don't know, like 200 or 300 bands in Asheville. We have more bands and more musicians per square foot in Asheville than I think any place in the country. I don't think anywhere can touch us. There may be places, there no doubt are places that have more, but I don't think per capita that could be. Anyway, we have a tremendous amount of musicians. We have a lot of experimental folks. We have a lot of people that have a lot of respect for a lot of analog gear and old style synthesizers. You know, we have Moog here, and that just seems right, among other things. And so that's what I want to try to do that. So that's why I'm putting this video together, to try to introduce the concept. And it's like, you know, when you need to, people have an idea for a business, they say, well, put together a prospectus and that kind of thing, you know, and I really don't know a lot about that. I've run, you know, some pretty big club down in Atlanta and stuff like that. So I have some inkling of the way it works. Plus I ran a little club here in town too. But so this is my form of a prospectus to put it out. It's a concept. I wanted to put it out as a video. Wanted to show some of the gear, and make this video and see if it would get around, if someone else would see it and say yes, I'd like to be a part of that, or I'd like to invest in that. You know, because I have almost no money at all, and everything I do, I just have to do it by bits and pieces and, you know, spare parts that I can find and stuff like that, and I do pretty well with that. But when it comes down to you know, I think a club like this could, in a fairly short period of time, a few years probably, gain an international recognition and would be worth something at that point. So you really want to start out by actually owning the property, owning the building that you do it in, because otherwise, you know, a landlord, you know, you can be out of a location at any time. You get something going, you can make the property worth a lot of money actually, and then it's not yours, it's the landlord. So we need to start the project by having enough investment to buy the building and start it working and stuff, and with enough of a long range vision to allow it to have time to build a reputation. And I think it'll do it in pretty short order. I've had enough experience with things like that to see how it works. You know, you have to work the energies. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching the video. And if you know, if you're interested, get in touch with me. Oh, what should I say? My email address is John1Blackwell, all one word, at gmail.com. And at least at the moment, my P.O. box is 1125, Asheville, North Carolina, 28802. And my phone number is area code 828-775-0797. So between all that, you can contact me if you're at all interested in my concept. And there's a lot more to it, but I don't really, you know, I'm camera shy. Okay, so I can hardly wait to put the chip in the slot and see what it looks like.